Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Greetings, family. Welcome to another one of your Frank 26 UB2Bs. It's good to be with you. It is the 12th of May, 2021. I greet you in agape love. We are KTFalways.com. Tonight it's our infomercial about the protection group. We're bringing this to you more often because you need to understand. And I think you do. So we're going to have Bill Johnson that's going to be with us in about 15 minutes. But our program is always the advertiser and dessert. Well, tonight, I've decided to go the opposite way. Everybody always comes at the end. Boy, will they be surprised tonight. I'm going to do the dessert right now, and then we'll start in 15 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, if you remember on Monday, Eminem and Petra tried to make it rather clear that Iraq is entering the international theater. Yesterday we went over an awful lot of articles that show exactly just that. Iraq is in the international theater. They're swimming in it. And the rest of the international world recognizes Iraq as being international. And by the way, everything that I'm saying tonight, it's all in my opinion, strictly my opinion. And in my opinion, the international world, countries, companies know very well that Iraq is Article 8. And when you see the movements, the statements, the relationship, the contracts, all the things that they are doing with Iraq, it's very convincing. Very convincing. And to be international will allow Iraq to increase the value of their currency if they choose to. They don't have to. They can be international, they can be Article 8 and not raise the value of their currency. And we gave you the example like Vietnam. Do you see countries pouring into Vietnam to do business with them? No. What you see is Vietnam producing an awful lot of stuff that belongs to them to export. To export. So they keep their value low so that they can make a big profit on the exporting, which is not fair. But they are international and recognized as such by all banks around the world. I wouldn't want that relationship. Whereas Iraq, in my opinion, is soon to announce that they are Article 8, they are internationally accepted. They are following all the international rules, especially for their banking structure. And in the same process, we're seeing an awful lot of countries pouring into Iraq. That's the difference between Iraq and Vietnam. They can both have a low value to their currency and be international, Article 8, but Iraq cannot afford that. Vietnam can. Nobody's pouring into their country. Iraq cannot. Everybody's pouring into that country. And I believe under the understanding that Iraq is going to protect them inside of Iraq under Article 8. And the very first thing that they would protect is the currency that these countries, these companies are bringing into Iraq. To have the freedom of movement to be able to send it back out if they make a profit in Iraq, back out to their country. The fact that they follow every rule and regulation under international for banking is so important. And on Monday, Eminem, Petra, and myself, we tried to drill a thought home to you. Iraq is heavily involved in blockchain technology. Petra and Eminem did a wonderful job explaining it to you. Inside of our forum at ktfois.com, you see in the final articles all the reports that Petra and Eminem have released about this subject. Family, that screams international. That's very obvious. And I believe that when the other countries see that Iraq is involved with blockchain technology, well, then I think they have a lot of confidence to come into Iraq. And that's what we're seeing. Yesterday we showed you what? Maybe like about 12 articles from all different countries with their relationship with Iraq. And one of them was even China. Oh, China needs relationship with Iraq. They don't need a relationship with Iran. Iran just wants to cause trouble. China is trouble. Iran wants to be like China. But the fact is, though, that China is trying to become like the United States of America. And thanks to China, Biden, Clinton, that's in the White House, he's destroying the United States of America and the dollar so that China can not only catch up and steal all of our technology, but surpass it as well, too. Interestingly enough, God, in his infinite wisdom, he knows what's going on. I don't think China's going to have a chance. In fact, just yesterday, China released information about their population growth. China's population is diminishing. Well, yeah, it makes sense. If a man and a woman have a baby, the odds of them keeping a girl baby in the womb is a no-no. China wants males to be born. That's how you create an invincible army. China is in a position where they are also romancing Iraq. They need oil. And China, Biden, Clinton is doing everything possible to make China and Iran powerful. Maybe even try to surpass the United States. That's sad. I take it to God in prayer. Because God knows what he's doing. All the events that we see on this planet Earth, God knows what's going on. God can ordain something. God can stop something. God knows what he's doing right now. As awful as it may seem, God's in full control. Do you remember my friend Kim Clement? One time Kim Clement said that God told him, "I will surprise the people. I know you want President Trump back, but God will surprise you." To see the blockchain technology right now is a loud scream of international status, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a good thing, by the way. It's an extremely good thing. I just thought I'd share that with you because yesterday, on Monday, I shared 4 files with you. And each one of those files was an indicator that told you, that gave you an idea, that prepared you, that allowed you to have a sensitivity to understand that, whoa, once I'm actually seeing these things. And what you're seeing is the implementation of many things, like blockchain technology. Why would you need it at a program rate? In fact, I think it's mathematically impossible. So you see, when you see something like that, you're left with a good sense of satisfaction. Hold on a second. Hey, Bill, hold on a second. I got 5 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead and mute your side so we don't have any echoes. So yeah, so when you see these type of things, in fact, all the 4 files that we opened for you on Monday, and when you see the evidence of like the articles that we showed you yesterday, a plethora of them, 2 pages worth. And when you see what I just told you right now, yeah, you should be left with a smile, without a doubt. I don't share with you Firefly Eddie anymore. I have my reasons. I guess one day I got fed up and I said, really? You insult everybody in my team? So I stopped sharing Eddie's report ever since then. It's my prerogative. But I want you to, I'm going to share something with you that happened today. It happened at 6:13. I'll just show you the time and the beginning part, and I'll read it to you. It says the following. Eddie says his bank friend told him again that every year, Ramadan and Eid holiday is when the stock exchange in Iraq and in Erbil and banks, all 3 of them, they close right around Ramadan, right around Eid. They close every year. It's a yearly maintenance program, nothing more. So when I was talking to our bank friend, Mr. Frank, he says, please don't expect a new rate when we reopen. It's the same thing every year. We're doing our finances. We're doing our inventory. We're doing our auditing. And it's a yearly maintenance by both parties from the holiday. So I wanted you to know that. I'm not trying to be a bringer of bad news or anything, but that's what he's telling me. And then I responded right back to him, and I told him the following. I told him, I'm sorry I'm late in responding. I was at the hospital, etc. I just saw your text, and yes, I agree with Eddie's bank friend. Yes, this is an annual event this time of the year. And the religious holidays, they have nothing to do with the monetary reform. These places, these 3 places that you're mentioning, as you know, and as your bank friend is telling you, Eddie, they always close for audits and inspection once a year. But Eddie, it is the 20th, in which I believe the CBI is going to do something. I'm not saying it's the new rate. I'm not saying it's the new currency, although it could be. But I am saying that they are going to do something. Let's pray that it's visible. Which in turn brings me to the conclusion of our dessert for tonight. I don't know the date of when they're going to raise the value of their currency and go international and depeg from the American dollar. But I would like to now share with you that in my opinion, on the 20th of this month, Iraq is making a move. I should say, Ghalay Mustafa, the governor of the CBI. They're making a move. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Our teams were just simply told, look for it. I responded by saying, yeah, whatever. Look, when they raise the value, they raise the value, but whatever. It's the Middle East. The 20th could be the 18th, 19th, 17th. It could be the 21st, 27th. It could be months. It doesn't matter. And they said something that hit me hard. It shocked me. Because I've said it to you before. Yeah, I said it to you before. First, let me tell you what Walking Stick and I said to you before, and then let me tell you what iTeams people said. Number one, Walking Stick and I shared with you that they have a date about 2 months ago. They have a date, and it is solid. It's not a date that's going to jump around all over the place. It is solid. It's written in titanium. Remember that? So when I was talking with iTeam, and they said, well, look on the 20th, we're looking for the CBI to do something. And I said, yeah, well, it could be, it's the Middle East. I mean, it could be before, it could be after, whatever. Okay. And they said, Frank. When they called me by my first name, I yes, sir. In this case, it was, yes, ma'am. It's immovable. What's immovable? The 20th. It's interesting. Frank, yes. It's solid. So something will happen on the 20th? Yes. And this is in our opinion. Because iTeams people tells me almost the same exact words that Walking Stick told me 2 months ago. They overlap with each other. And I told you in the near proximal future, this date that they have that's carved in titanium apparently now is immovable and solid as well too. These are my teams. These are my friends. These are my friends. And we wish to share this with you in our opinion and nothing more. Okay? Okay. That's our dessert. I wanted to give you that information. And yeah, there might be more after. I don't know. We'll see. But right now, it's time to talk about the protection group. Protection group plan. There he is. I hear him going beep, beep. Are you there, Bill Johnson?
Oh yes, yes, I'm here. That was me beeping.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. No worries. No worries. Hey, my dear friend, the floor is yours. Knock yourself out and talk to the family about the protection plan because they now know two different ways that they can protect themselves by from what this horrible man is in the White House is going to do to American citizens.
Wow,
Horrible, horrible man. The floor is yours.
isn't that the gospel? Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Bill Johnson. I'm the presenter for the Protection Group LLC, and the reason that I'm coming on here again with Frank, this is the third UB2B that we've done, and because we want you to understand what you have available to you to protect your assets, and when the RV does occur, whatever date that may be, and you exchange your currency, it's going to be a blessing for everybody. But what do you do with the money? How do you protect your money? It's something that haunts everybody. How do you do it? I think we have the best way to do it by putting it into an irrevocable trust with the protection group. We give you the trust. You operate your trust. We just teach you how to do it, but you operate it, and the trust does protect your assets. The trust that the protection group offers is a package of 10 trusts and 11 attachments. And you think, first of all, why do we need 10 trusts? Well, it's very simple. You have to have multiple trusts, and it's not 10. You could have the package could have been 8 trusts. It could have been 12 trusts. Why it's 10, I don't know. I'm just the spokesperson, but 10 is just an arbitrary number. Okay, and what it does is it allows you to segregate your assets to protect them. And I'm going to explain it to you because I know that just by telling you that doesn't mean a thing to you. You've got to understand what I'm talking about. And the best thing I can do is put it in a picture for you, and I'll paint a picture for you of how it works. But the main thing that we want to talk about is letting you know how it works, and then where do you get an education? You know, you can get a little bit of education from tonight, and then we'll open it up for Q&A, and Frank and I will be here. We'll answer questions and ask questions and whatever that you'll learn from that. But we need to give you the whole program so that you can understand it and you can make a decision based on your understanding. And that there's a recorded call that was done some months ago, and it gives you all the information that you need to make a decision after you hear what I've got to say tonight. I'm going to give you the number right now in case you're writing it down. That's great. And then I'm going to give it to you at the end of this call also. But the number for the education call is 605-313-5155. And it's going to ask you for a PIN number, and that PIN number is 155703#. Okay, 605-313-5155. I'll give it to you again in a few minutes for those that didn't get it written down and had to find a piece of paper and pen to write it down. But it'll come to you again at the end of the call. But I want to explain to you how it works. And so with the 10 trusts that you get, you know, you're going to start off with the trust. You're going to put all your cash into one trust. It's going to be called your asset management trust. That's going to be the main trust. That's going to be your major trust. That's where your cash is. And then it's going to be an umbrella over all of your other trusts, which will be under that umbrella, and they'll be called subtrusts. Each one of these trusts is a legal entity in its own right. Okay, so they stand alone, but yet you're putting them in a group to where they can actually work together to protect your assets. The asset management trust is something that you're going to name. Everybody has an asset management trust. That's the name that you make up for yourself, that you apply to the Internal Revenue Service for an EIN number, which, folks, is an employer identification number. Every company, partnership, the LLC has an EIN number, and you'll have one also. You call this thing, maybe you call it Over the Hill Gang Asset Management Trust. How about United Community Asset Management Trust? How about Mountains and Streams Asset Management Trust? You see, it could be anything that you want to name it. Asset Management Trust. What we want to impress upon you is that we want to help you remain anonymous with this trust. Now, anybody that thinks about it, you know, very, very clearly will understand why you want to be anonymous. The anonymous part is because, you know, if everybody in town knows that you have a trust, their assumption is going to be that you have a lot of money. So it isn't going to be long before the hundreds and hundreds of charities in your area are going to find your name and your number and start calling you at home and bugging you for a donation. They operate, you can't blame them, they operate on donations. I mean, you can't blame them. And nobody wants to tell you that you have to give, but if you do want to give something, you should make the decision yourself, not have people calling you and begging you for it. You should do some research and find out what the best place, if you want to give some money, how you would do it. Okay, that's what we're going to do when we make the trust anonymous to you, where we're going to call it United Community Asset Management Trust. That doesn't give away your name. The last thing we ever want you to do is, if your name is Robert Thompson, is to name your trust Robert Thompson Asset Management Trust. How foolish would that be? You know, there's checks going to be written all over town, you know, for taxes and insurance and buying a car and buying a boat, and your name's going to appear, and it's going to be eventually found out if that's what you call yourself, Robert Thompson Asset Management Trust. But just call yourself, like I do, ABC Asset Management Trust, what I call mine, ABC Asset Management Trust. I could send out checks all day long to people, and they would never identify Bill Johnson with ABC Asset Management Trust, Post Office Box 10901. I don't have my home address on the check. I've got a post office box on my check. Because on the check, you know, you have to have your name and address on the checks. And so that's what I put on ABC Asset Management Trust with Post Office Box 10901, and I have my anonymity. So you're going to get this trust set up with the bank, with the the bank, and you're going to set it up where your cash that you get from your currency exchange is going to go into that bank account. The education call goes into that area of the starting of your business in more detail than I'm going to go into tonight, because it takes a little bit longer, and we got about 25 minutes that we want to spend on this, but we want to open it up for Q&A so that you can get some of your personal questions answered. So that first trust is going to have your cash in it. It's going to be a checking account probably, and that's all that's going to be in that ABC Asset Management Trust account is your checking account, your money. Why do you just have money in there? Why would you do that? Well, tell me how a lawsuit occurs. Doesn't a lawsuit usually occur from liability? Maybe you've run over somebody with your car, or you've done something crazy that you're liable for their safety. Well, if you have your money in an ABC Asset Management Trust account, there's no liability potential. What's the money going to do? How could it possibly do anything to harm somebody? And it can't. And that's why you put it there, and that's all that goes in that trust. Now, we start off with 10 trusts, and the reason we have the 10 trusts is we're going to segregate our assets. So I'm going to spend just a few minutes on filling those trusts up with assets, and then I'm going to give you an example of what could happen if you had an accident and a lawsuit, and what it would mean to you if this was you and this was your trust. Second trust you're going to set up maybe would be for a home sweet home real estate trust. You and your spouse are going to want to buy a house. You're going to whatever the property is, as long as you're not renting. If you're renting, then you can't put a rental property into your trust, because these sub trusts are for assets that you want the trust to own. Well, you can't own a rental property that you're renting from. But assuming that you're going to have buy a home, you go out and you get with a realtor and you look at houses. This is after your pre-RV. After your revaluation has taken place. You've got money. You've got the desire, and you want to go look at the houses and probably buy one. But once you decide on buying it with the realtor that's showing it to you, you make an offer. They come. You know how the game goes. They ask you a price, and you work and you negotiate until you get a final price. And when you get that final price, you tell the realtor, say, Mr. Realtor, this is not going to be in my name. I'm not buying the house. It's being purchased by a trust. The trust is going to be called Home Sweet Home Real Estate Trust. That trust is going to be, there'll be a deed created for that trust, and that deed will be registered at the Register of Deeds office in the county in which you're purchasing that. Because the question always comes up from folks, how do I register my trust? Well, you're registering it with with the deed that came with that trust. So you've used the second trust, and you bought a piece of property. Maybe it's a large bunch of acreage with a farm on it. Maybe it's just a condominium. Maybe it's a home with a yard. Doesn't matter. It's one deed, and that deed goes into the Home Sweet Home Real Estate Trust, and that's all that goes in that trust. Remember, we're going to segregate our assets. Well, we're segregating it from each other. They're segregating that trust has your home in it, and that's all that ever goes in it. The third trust you're going to set up be for personal property, and everybody has personal property. My gosh, think about all the things that are personal property, all the furniture in your home, all the appliances in your home that are not attached, all your artwork, all your ceramics, your equipment that you play golf with, your television sets, your cell phones. And think about all the things that you have that are personal assets. They go into a trust, and they're owned by a trust, and you want everything that you have owned by a trust. In this case, it'd be called, I call mine My Stuff Personal Property Trust. Well, it's a silly name, but it works. My Stuff Personal Property Trust. And everything I purchase in the future, I'm going to get an invoice from on those items that I purchase, like new furniture for the home. I just put in the Home Sweet Home Real Estate Trust. I might need to buy some new couches and chairs, and maybe some appliances, maybe whatever. But I'll get the invoice made out to My Stuff Personal Property Trust when I get that taken care of. Okay, all this is going to be handled by my ABC Asset Management Trust checking account. Okay, now I have two trustees that are on my team, and these two trustees keep me at arm's length from ever having to do anything with the money. I don't ever have to sign a check. I'm not allowed to sign a check because I don't want to sign a check. I want the trustees to sign a check. That keeps me at arm's length from any lawsuit that could possibly come against me. What my goal is to say I own nothing, but I control everything. I own nothing, but I control everything. So I got that third trust is set up with personal property and the golf clubs that I just get ready to buy. I'll get an invoice for that, and the invoice will be made. It'll be sold to ABC Asset Management Trust, and I will have the trustees write a check for those golf clubs, $3,500, $3,200, whatever they cost, and that will be written to purchase the golf clubs. I don't want to own them. Remember, I own nothing, but I get control of all of it. Which reminds me, speaking of control, when you're talking about our trust is an irrevocable, complex, segregated asset trust. And when I talk about control, we have control of this trust 100% of the time. Let's just put it this way. Anything that you ever want, and the trust has the money to pay for it, anything that you ever want, you cannot be denied. Nobody can tell you no. Yeah. That means you have 100% control of your items in your trust, of your trust money, and of all the items that are there. The homes, the assets that you put in your trust. As you get these assets, right now we've only done 3. We've got our ABC Asset Management Trust with cash in it. We've got Home Sweet Home Real Estate Trust with our home in it. We've got My Stuff Personal Property Trust. Well, next thing we're going to do is maybe get an automobile. We're going to call it Hot Rod Auto Trust number 1. Just going to go buy an automobile. I want a new one. I've been wanting a new one. That's what you're saying. I want one. I'm going to get one. This is a car I really want. And you go negotiate for it. And when you get ready to purchase it, you tell the salesman at that car dealership, write the order up, but don't put it in my name. Put it in the name of a trust that's going to own that. The trust is called Hot Rod Auto Trust number 1. And that's what he'll do. And when the title comes back for that vehicle, it'll be registered with the county court clerk. So you're registered with the Register of Deeds office. Now you're registering your automobiles with the county court clerk, and it's going to be registered in the name of Hot Rod Auto Trust number 1. You're going to drive off in it with your keys, and it's going to go to you. And you'll eventually learn that if all the assets that you have here, you and your spouse are the only 2 people in the whole world that can benefit from those assets. The only 2 people out of the billions of people in the world, you're the only 2 people that can benefit from the assets. So the fifth thing you're going to set up maybe for another automobile for your spouse. Now you wouldn't want to put it in Hot Rod Auto Trust number 1. You want to segregate it, and you want to keep on segregating your assets. You only put one asset in each trust. So next we're going to have is a Hot Rod Auto Trust number 2. That's going to be an automobile that your spouse wants. Same scenario. You tell the salesman to write it up in the name of the trust, not in your name. It's going to be owned by Hot Rod Auto Trust number 2. The title when it comes back is going to be registered with the county court clerk. Again, you registered your trust. You're going to want to buy a boat. You got the 6 trusts. You haven't used it. You've used 5 already. You got 10. You don't have to use them all at right now. You can use 5 of them and stop. Maybe there's nothing else you want to do right now. Maybe if you want to buy other things, you'll wait till maybe a few months down the road. And when you do, you can exercise your information from the protection group, and we'll fill out the trust for you that you own that you haven't used yet. You don't have to use them all in the first day. You just have. That's just you may. Some do. Most people don't. Most people use probably average of 3 to 4 trusts to start off with, and then they as they go along and get more items, more assets, then they name a new trust and get us to fill it out for you and create it for you and send it to you so that you can have that trust. But let's say you want to buy a boat. It's your 6th trust is going to be a boat, and so you make a deal with the boat dealer. And it makes no difference what kind of boat you're going to buy. It could be a 14-foot John boat. It could be a 100-foot motor yacht. I don't know and it doesn't matter what it is. There's going to be one title for that boat, and it's going to be owned by Sea Ray Boat Trust. Same scenario. Tell the salesman it's going to be that you're not buying it. Write up the order and then put it in the name of Sea Ray Boat Trust, Post Office Box 10901, City State Zip Code. You do the same thing on the 7 trust. You want a motorcycle. You've always wanted a BMW motorcycle, so you decide to go buy one. You go negotiate for it, and when it's all said, and you come up with a final price that you're willing to pay, let the trust pay for it. Then you tell the salesman again, write up the order, but not in my name. I'm not buying. It's going to be owned by BMW Motorcycle Trust, Post Office Box 10901. You see what we're doing? We've gone through 7 trusts now that we've used, and we only have one item in each trust. And that's the way we're going to continue to do it. If you end up having to have 20 trusts because you have a lot of items, then so be it. The original package that the protection group sells, the original package is $2,900. That includes the entire program, all your education. You'll never pay the protection group another penny for anything to do with that trust. But as you get more trust, if you use the 10 and you need more, and you get 11th trust or 12th trust, those trusts cost you $100 a piece, and they're only purchased with the ability to make them as sub-trust under your main ABC Asset Management Trust. So it's got a big umbrella, and under that is all the asset management. The assets are in your sub-trust. Each trust is its own entity. Don't forget that. That's important. Let's say you're going to your eighth trust now. You've used 7. You want to buy a 24-unit apartment complex. And so you go to negotiate with a realtor, and you're the seller, and you end up making a deal. And when you get it, you got a deed. There's a deed that's going to be created, and it'll be registered with the Register of Deeds office. And you've made it, and who's going to own that? You're not going to own that 24-unit complex. It's going to be owned by Rental Property Number 1 Real Estate Trust. Rental Property Number 1 Real Estate Trust. When those 24 checks are written each month, they're written out to the ABC Asset Management Trust. That's where the checks are written. They all go into your Asset Management Trust checking account. That's where your money is kept. Your CPA will give you write a program for you that'll be so simple to do that when you have expenses against that 24-unit complex, you'll have a code that you code your checks. There'll be a code page for everything that you do. But that's between you and your CPA, and it's very simple to do. You're only going to have one checking account, and you're only going to have 2 trustees. That's all you need. If you have 100 trusts, that's all you need is one checking account and 2 trustees. So you've used 8 trusts, and you're keeping on going. You got your eye on a couple of duplexes, and if you buy the 9th duplex, it's going to be owned by Rental Property Number 2 Real Estate Trust, and if you buy another one, it's going to be Rental Property Number 3 Real Estate Trust. Okay, so you get the idea. We get one item, and each one of our trusts only has one item. One day you're out riding that BMW motorcycle, which is owned by BMW Motorcycle Trust, and you have an accident. You run over somebody, and I'm not talking about hitting them in the car. I mean, you ran over them and hurt them. You've injured them to the point they probably can't work again. Maybe they can't work again for years. Maybe they can't work again ever. So you're going to get sued, and you do. You get a lawsuit filed against you because why? You don't own the motorcycle, but you were the operator of the motorcycle. So you're going to be sued. The motorcycle trust, BMW Motorcycle Trust, is going to be sued. Okay, that's only fair. And so you go into court. The plaintiff attorney presents his case, and the judge comes back and agrees that he's going to give a judgment against the BMW Motorcycle Trust and you for $2 million. It just so happened that you had $500,000 worth of liability insurance that you had on that motorcycle, and that worked out pretty well for the plaintiffs because you got $500,000 that you can now use to help pay that with. The other money, they can't get it. They can't get it from you. Remember, I own nothing, but I control everything. Well, you don't own anything. How can they force you to liquidate something that you don't own? How can you raise money when you don't own anything? You can't. They just take my word for it. You cannot. The BMW Motorcycle Trust is going to be in the same situation. The judge is going to tell the trustees of the trust to liquidate everything you need to in that trust. Everything to up to $1.5 million. So if it's full of all kinds of things, like most people would do, they'd fill that trust up with all kinds of things. Well, in this case, there's only one item in it. That item gets sold. $25,000 is what you get for it. You give that to the plaintiff attorney. That money is gone. You lost it. But folks, that's all you're going to lose. Is $1,475,000 that can't be paid. there is a lien that goes against the BMW Motorcycle Trust. And you're sitting there thinking, wait a minute, what about all the money in the asset management trust? What about the home that I bought? What about the 24-unit apartment complex that we bought and paid cash for? They can't touch that. That stands alone. They all are legal entities, and they stand alone. It'd be no different than saying you as the defendant say, well, your brother's got was worth $25 billion. Let's go get him to pay it. Well, what's your brother got to do with it? Nothing. What do the other trusts have to do with it? Nothing. They're not involved in the lawsuit. That's why you have asset protection. Okay, so I'm gonna slow it down just a little bit here and let get and go over those phone numbers again one more time, and then we're gonna turn it over and get Frank to invite y'all to ask questions, and we'll answer the questions as long as Frank has given me the time to answer them. I'll stay as long as you need to. If he wants to cut it off at a certain point, then we'll take the questions up to that point, whatever that is. The phone number for the education call, which you need to have before you can go any further with your education, is that phone number is 605-313-5155. 605-313-5155. The PIN number on that is 155703 pound, followed by the pound sign. Now, I'm going to give you my phone number, but here's the deal. Don't call me and ask questions until you've listened to the education call. We're talking about, there's several thousand people that'll get this phone number. And there's people that have had it for months, and they call me all the time, but they've already listened to the education call. But the education call is going to answer 95% or more of your questions. But you're welcome to bug me and get the other answers. You also can send an email to the Protection Group LLC at gmail.com and get your answers. Okay, all that information is given to you. I'm running over it very, very quickly, but it's all on the information call, the 605-313-5155 number. That's where all that information is given to you. Okay, my name is Bill Johnson. My phone number is 865-300-1953. 865-300-1953. Frank, let's open it up for some questions. What do you think?
You bet. Jan, have you been writing any by any chance? Oh, okay. You bet, Bill. Thank you. Well done as always. And it's a lot of information that you've given the family. I appreciate that. We're going to go down these quick questions, family. And if you have any more, you go right ahead and print them, post them. Okay, I'll see them and I'll read them off. Here's one right now from Chickadee. If I get sued because I was driving a motorcycle, but I own nothing, but the judge said I have to pay X amount of dollars, won't I go to jail for not paying even if I own nothing?
Not in this country.
Oh, really?
You won't go to jail in this country for not.
Oh, pardon me. That's right. If you own nothing, yeah, you that's not a guilty status. That's right. Pardon me. Yeah, you own nothing. That's kind of like when you go to a civil court and you win, but the other person doesn't have any money to pay you. Big deal. You won.
There you go.
Yeah. Very good question. All righty. Let's try another one here. This is from Laboe, Laboe. How does the trust work if you set up when you are single, but then you get married after it's set up?
Well, you got two choices. You can either add your spouse to the trust and be a beneficiary along with you, or you can keep it in your name and be married and have your prenuptial agreement already made in writing there, because everything you own is going to be in trust that he would have no access to.
I never thought of that, Bill. This trust fund is actually a very interesting form of prenuptial agreement. I never thought of that.
You want to always, if you have money, you want to buy your daughters. All your daughters need to have all this stuff put in trust. Prenuptial agreement.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's the way to do it.
Fantastic.
That's the way to do it, honey. Here, before you get married, Puppy's gonna give you all this stuff. Okay? Notice it's in your name. Don't you dare change that.
That's it.
So the trust funds protect you from your spouse. I love that. All righty. John C. wants to know, will you have a card available for that account?
We don't recommend that. Talking about a credit card?
I think so, yeah.
No, what we recommend to you, and of course,
Write a check.
we recommend something doesn't mean you have to do it. You have a mind of your own. You can do what you want, but we recommend that you tell the banker that the only way you want money to ever come out of that account is with a written check, nothing else. No calling the bank and doing a funds transfer, no debit cards, no credit cards, nothing. Just a written check, and that protects you.
All righty. Hold on. They've been posting some more questions. Would you please give the information number again? Well, we've already done that, but there it is, right underneath. You can see it. Let's see. How many of the trusts? How many of the trusts need an EIN number?
There's only one EIN number, and that's for your ABC Asset Management Trust checking account. The only reason you need the EIN number there so you can give the banker that EIN number to open up the account, just like you'd have to do as an individual. You'd have to give a Social Security number. That's the only EIN number you'll ever need. And by the way, as far as that checking account is concerned, you can segregate your assets if you've got enough cash and you want to put all that cash in 3 different banks. You can do it. It's all under the name of the Asset Management Trust with the 2 trustees the signatures on those accounts. You're just spreading it out.
Roger that. Good question, Bob Rice. Thank you. Big S is saying, in case a bank bails in, is our money still safe?
It's no different than it would be if you had it in a regular checking account. Whenever you put money in a checking account at the bank, it goes into the bank's books as a loan. You have loaned them money, and if they can't pay you back, you become a debtor. It's a problem, but you can do yourself a big favor by segregating your assets into 2 or 3 different banks, and you can also get Lloyd's of London to insure it. When you have enough money and you've got money to protect, you ask your wealth manager how to do that, and they can give you a way.
Isa, I think I'm pronouncing that right. ISA, Isa, is saying, can I have a trust for a family member like my grandkids?
No, this is a generational trust. If you're married or you have children, then your children would probably be who you would make as your successor beneficiaries. And when your children get old and they pass away, then your grandchildren would become successor beneficiaries to them.
Got it.
And so with your great-grandchildren, it's a generational trust that it goes on forever and ever if you allow it to.
Yes.
You can't set up parameters that you can have your children wipe it out if that's what you so choose and cut your grandchildren out of it. Because I don't think you want to do that. But you could. You have control. Remember what I said a minute ago? You have 100% control of this trust for anything that happens. It's all up to you.
Good question, Isa. Good question. Mark Gates is saying, am I correct that a trust is non-taxable, so the government can't tax you?
You're not correct at all. No, it does. There's no trust that I would ever touch or tell you about that says you don't pay taxes.
Drummer boy.
The good news about this, though, this trust is that the Internal Revenue Service considers our trust to be a pass-through trust, which means that you can pay the taxes or the trust can pay the taxes. One of you pay the taxes, but not both. That's on profit that you make.
Got it.
Everybody has to pay the tax man.
Yes.
Yeah, but you do get a chance to pay it. You pay it, or the trust pays it.
Yes.
And that's called a pass-through trust. It's like having on your left-hand pocket you've got money, and your right-hand pocket you've got the trust money. Well, to get the money from your right pocket to your left pocket isn't that hard. You reach in your pocket, pick up a few $100 bills, and throw it into your left pocket. Yep, you sure can. Is that a taxable event? No, it's not. It's just a reduction of principal that's in your trust. You just reduce your trust size by a few $100s because you put it into your left pocket. Okay, it's a beautiful. I mean, it's just totally perfect. It's hard to imagine how you could make anything any sweeter than this. That you have complete control and yet protect your assets. That millions of dollars that you've got in your ABC Asset Management Trust account can never be touched. Never.
Good answer.
You
Good
can't
answer.
you can't say that about an LLC corporation or your individual or you as an individual. You have an accident with money in your checking account,
Gone.
you could lose it all.
Good point. Excellent point. Next is Drum Boy E. Oh, I gotta say this. Drummer Boy E it says,
All right.
do I put each of my assets in separate trusts? Sorry if this is an elementary question. It's the first time on the call. Welcome, by the way, Drummer Boy E. The answer is yes, but no. Bill, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Drummer Boy, that's exactly what you do. We just went over it all. When you put every trust has an asset and only one asset per trust. That's what we recommend. Can you do it different than that? Yes, you can, but we don't recommend it because like the BMW motorcycle. Let's say you had the motorcycle wreck, but in that you didn't listen to us, and in that trust in that account you put $180,000 Chevrolet 57 Chevrolet Restomod that you've decided to put in your trust with the BMW motorcycle trust, which you could have done. Well, and that lawsuit came along. Guess what? The judge will make you sell that car and the motorcycle to pay toward that $1.5 million that you owe. So you don't ever want to do that.
Got
You don't
it.
ever want to put more than one item in a trust.
Shirley Barrett, you're asking a question. What info needed about your two trusts? Well, there's 10 trusts. As far as what info, I mean, surely they'll ask you all the questions that you need about your own personal information. Do you have an answer for that, Bill?
Everything is answered on the education college she's asking.
Bingo. There you go. Here's a good question from John Camacho. Can the trust ever be frozen?
By whom? Who's going to freeze it? I don't get this. I don't get the question. Ask your CPA if that can happen. I don't think that can happen.
Copy.
There's no, as far as I know, there's no way that. I mean, you got millions of dollars in an asset management trust with the bank, and it can be frozen. I guess if the bank went under, they'd take it. It would take it to be considered frozen.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, I guess that's the only. I guess that's the only way I know how to answer that because it's probably a CPA question.
Oh, look at here. Claire answered Drummer Boy E the question already. She says, yes. And if you listened again, that was all explained by Bill in detail. Way to go. You tell him, Claire. You tell him, Claire. But I'm glad we were able to help Boy E, Drummer Boy E.
Hey, give her a gold star.
Anna Maria is asking, hey, Bill, from your experience, which bank is more favorable towards the trust that you offer? Because some banks want to see the whole package of the trust.
You know what? We give you the bank documents. They come with your trust. The bank documents. That's the bank documents and the IRS letter is all that you're required by law to give to the bank.
Okay.
But every bank is different, and
Yeah.
very few bankers understand that a trust at all, much less an irrevocable trust. So
Yeah.
if you have to give them more information in order to get your trust account set up with the bank, then give it to them. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I agree. Can your gold and this is Michael Winkler? Can your gold and precious metal wallet for the 7K metals or gold assets be included in the trust?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You just have to get 7K metals to change the name of it's no longer in your name. It'll be in the name of your metals asset trust or whatever you want to call it.
Good point.
But that would be who would own it at that point. So you give up ownership to the metals trust.
Alrighty, let's see another question we have here. Looks like Michael's asking another question. I have a trust system set up, but what if I want to move to another trust provider like yours, Bill? Can I keep the same trust?
You can do whatever you'd like. Yes, you absolutely have to. You have everything in one trust, and then with ours, you just put new assets in the trust and keep the old one alive. We don't recommend it because you don't need it. What I would do if I had another trust like a family trust or a living trust that maybe doesn't protect my assets like the irrevocable trust does, I might take the assets out of those trusts and just put them into the into the irrevocable trust that you're purchasing from the protection group and have it all in one trust.
Copy.
But you don't have to do it that way. You have options.
Gino is asking a question. Gino, you're asking a question about the wallet. That's a different UB2B. That's a 7K metal UB2B. But you can call me and I can see if I can help you. Alrighty, the next one is from Paulino, if I'm saying that right. I have an existing statutory trust for the RV. Is it necessary to obtain another trust from you? As many as you want.
Well, you don't have to. No, and you don't have to have a trust before you go exchange your currency. There's no requirement to have a trust to do that.
Yeah.
But if you have a trust, then you might want to check out what kind of trust you have. I don't know. I'd have to. Every attorney's office makes trusts, and so they're all different. If you have a trust where all your assets are in one trust, and you happen to have check signing authority on that trust, you don't have any asset protection. Your money is not protected in that kind of a trust.
Yep, I agree. Next one is from, it looks like Yaharia Ortiz. Basically, what Bill just said, Ortiz, is the answer. Because you're saying, Bill, can you explain why it would be good to have the trust before the RV or, RI? It's the RI, by the way. And he just answered that question. Here's another one from Virginia. Virginia. Does it not separate the individual from the liability? Not sure what that means, but can you answer that?
I'm not sure what she's asking.
Yeah,
but,
I didn't
but here's the thing: you as an individual own nothing, so you have no liability. You might have liability, but you can't pay it if they get a judgment against you. Just like in the BMW Motorcycle Trust, there's a judgment against you for $1,475,000. You don't own anything; you can't pay it, so it's a moot point.
Yeah, I think I think I understand her question, but that your answer I think is suffice. Here's another one from Joel. Can a trust be tied to an investment so the money in that trust can continue to work and grow?
Yes. Yeah. If you have a buying stocks or things like that, you just put the name of this that you put on the stock.
Yeah.
With your broker would not be your name; it'd be the name of your trust. It's going to own that. That's going to own that currency, that those stocks. And as the money is paid, then it's going to be paid to that trust, and that'll go into your asset management trust account.
Alrighty. I'm going to speed it up because we're down to 3 minutes. No more questions, family. Robert Parker is saying, what happens when one of the grantor's spouses dies?
The grantor spout where you got a husband and a wife, right?
Right.
That are the grantors of the trust.
Right.
When one dies, the trust nothing happens to the trust. It continues to grow and go as long as one grantor is still alive. Then they can change anything that's in the trust. When that second grantor passes away, then you've got it set up because your successor beneficiaries immediately take over with no restrictions. They just become the successor beneficiaries. Now they are the beneficiaries. And how do they operate the trust? They operate it the way you set up the parameters for your successors to get money out of the trust. You set that up before you die so that you can control it from the grave. And to them, it's an irrevocable trust. It's not irrevocable to you, but it's irrevocable to them. They cannot change what you set up.
Got it. Here's a quick question. It's actually a two-part. Galway Girl is saying, can our silver and gold be in a trust and be tax-free? There is a second part. How is the silver and gold put in? Through a safe deposit box? But first, can our silver and gold be in a trust and be tax-free?
Well, you're going to when you buy the trust, you buy the silver and gold, you're going to buy it in the name of the trust. And I heard something yesterday, and I don't know that this is true, and this is not my opinion. This is just what I heard. If you have, let's say you have $1 million that you put into gold, and when you get ready to sell it, you can sell it for $2 million. it's my understanding that there is no tax on profit that you make on metals. Frank, have you ever heard that?
Yeah, that's why I brought them the 7K metal wallet, and
Yeah.
that's why I invested a lot in it this past week.
I, I asked my brother, who is an attorney. I said, George, if I had $100 million, where do I put that money? What do I do with it?
Put
I
it
know
in
it's put it in the
coins. That's what
trust.
I
I put it
did.
in, but then the trust is in a bank. He said, well, first of all, you get about 80 million of it, put it in gold, put it in a vault in Atlanta, let it be owned by the trust. But as you sell that over the years to come, if you ever need to sell it, it'll be very, very valuable, and the profits that you make on it's not taxable.
And
I
if you
said,
put
good
it in,
Lord,
and
that's fantastic.
if you put that silver or gold in coins, that's where it's not taxable.
But not bars, just coins.
Just the coins. You should please take this to your CPA or lawyers, whatever, and double check that,
Yeah, I'll ask
okay?
him.
Yeah,
I'll
double
clear that
check
up with
that.
him. Yeah,
But I wouldn't be saying
yeah.
it if we didn't know it. Let's see if there's any more questions. That was a good question, Galway girl, by the way. Thank you. Who invests money that's in the trust account? Who invests the money that's in the trust account?
The trustees invested but they only invest it because that's what you're telling them to do. You control everything they do.
Gotcha. What happens if one of the trustees dies? Can who can sign the checks? You replace them.
Your protector can take over and sign the checks until you get another trustee. But once that person is no longer there, then you want to definitely get another trustee to take his place. In the meantime, the protector who's there as your bodyguard that takes care of you no matter what happens, that protector does whatever you want him to do regardless. And that's what you would call the protector in to sign the minutes of the meeting to allow you to get the money or to buy the boat or buy the car for the trust or whatever you're doing. You would take that trustee spot.
How about two more questions, Ryan? What if you happens if you? I think he means what happens if you have an existing business and a loss? I think and loss a law. I think he means and a lawsuit. Would the trust still be protected?
If you put the assets of that like it's an LLC and you whatever you're presenting, whatever your ownership is in the LLC, it could be 100%, it could be 50%, it could be 25%. Put your percentage of ownership into the trust and the assets of that LLC into the trust, and you'd have them protected.
Roger that. And go ahead. You were gonna finish.
No, I was just going to say the LLCs can be put in, can be put into one of your subtrusts,
Gotcha.
and still they can still operate their business, have a checking account, and do whatever they need to do. But they can put the asset. You might have an LLC that has trailers that the 18-wheelers, and you get 15 of them. Well, let them be owned by a trust.
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, Bill, as always, fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to talk to Bill directly, you can call him at 865. Get that pen. Come on, pick up that pen. Ready? 865 300 1953. Bill?
And please do not call me to ask questions until you've listened to the education call. And that number is 605-313-5155. And the PIN number is 155703#. You got to remember, there's probably 2,000 people on this call tonight, and I can't possibly take the time to train each one of you. When in fact the education call does it for me and does it for you. And you can listen to it. When people sign up for a trust, I'll ask them, how many times did you listen to the education call? And everybody's 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Is what my answer usually comes back. So,
Gotcha, Bill.
That ought to get us covered. Thanks. It's a good call.
Yes, sir. I'm holding up the information so that everybody can see it one more time. There's an email where you can get a hold of Bill. There's the phone number, and what we're missing on this is the Tuesday and the Thursday calls at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The phone number is 605-313-5156. Then you enter the access code of 155703, followed by the pound sign. Thank you, Bill. God bless you. And
Very good. Golly, Frank, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I
Hey,
appreciate.
everybody, have a great evening, everybody. God bless each and every one of us.
God bless you, Bill.
As we prepare for this blessing to come smack us right in the face, right, Frank? Sometime.
Sometimes. Thank you, my brother. I really appreciate it because you see, you're a treasure trove of information. Right now, people are asking a lot of questions, especially how to protect themselves. You have a lot of their answers. God bless you, Bill. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Frank. Good night.
Good night, sir. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, how about that? That was fun. The man's packed with a lot of information. And then if you go to the Tuesday and Thursday calls at 8:30, my goodness gracious, they got lawyers there. I think they have 2 lawyers on those shows. Oh, one, Tink?
Or just one
Oh,
lawyer.
just one? I thought it was, well, the company has, I know, 2 for sure. But yeah, go to them. Go to them and listen. And then if you have, questions, because boy, they're going to cover everything. Then if you have questions, then call Bill and he'll help you out, okay? Now, this is the time where we bring in our dessert, but guess what? We already did. Yeah. So, for those of you that are now just arriving, greetings, welcome. It's good to see you. And I would say to you that if you're interested in what I had to say as far as our investment, all in my opinion, solely, strictly in my opinion, you'll want to rewind this UB2B and watch to the beginning again. So I leave you with this last thought because I did promise that I would do that. Premium. We believe that there's going to be information that we're going to invite you to sit on our blue couch. You heard what I said at the beginning of our UB2B for tonight, right? It's not a date. It's an event. And I pray that they show it. I pray that it's visible. You saw what I showed you from Eddie. The holidays in Iraq, anywhere, have nothing to do with the monetary reform. In fact, today is the end of... Wait a minute, no, when is it? June? What was April, May? Oh, yeah. Today is May the 12th, isn't it? Yeah, it's the end of Ramadan. Yeah, it's the end of Ramadan. It's a holy time. And many people are asking, well, is it necessary? Yes, what is it?
That's today. Eid.
Oh, I know. Today is the end. Oh, I said Ramadan. Thank you, Tinkerbell. You my sweetheart. Are you sure about that?
That's what it says on my calendar.
I think that's wrong. I tell you what, somebody back me up. Find out if today is the end of... Is it the end of Ramadan or is it the end of Eid today? You know what? I think I messed up. It is. Oh, man, now I feel stupid. I look stupid. But here's what I'm trying to say. These holidays, Eid and... Is that you?
No, somebody else.
Eid and Ramadan have nothing to do with the monetary reform. Now, you heard today is the last day of Ramadan. You see, I told you I was right. Do I get a cookie? Do I get a cookie for it? Claire, do I get a cookie? But what about it? Well, in my opinion, these holidays don't have anything to do with monetary reform. Especially Ramadan. It's not a time where you pray for financial gain. It's a time when Iraqi citizens are praying for their neighbors, for each other. But Eid, which is July the 19th until July the 23rd, that's a different subject. But again, we're not tying anything to these holidays. Nothing to it. Okay? Okay, so we cross that out. And the final thing that I'll share with you tonight. If you go back to our UB2B on Monday, do you remember the recording that I played for you from the United Arab Emirate? Remember? What did my friend say? They're at the bottom of the barrel. Oh, really? Teller of the Bank of United Arab Emirates? Yeah, they're at the bottom of the barrel. What's in there? 50 Ks. 50 Ks? That's the bottom of the barrel? Yeah. And then what did I say after that? Ladies and gentlemen, the 1,000s, the 5,000s, the 10,000s, the 250s, they're all gone. They're all gone. What's left is the 50 Ks. but you think that that would be at the top of the barrel, Frank? Well, you see, people want diversification. What I don't want to exchange 50,000 all at once. I'd like to exchange maybe 10,000, 1,000, whatever it is. I got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. So the majority of the number one denominations are the lower ones. Anything underneath the 25 Ks. All of a sudden, what are you seeing delivered to you? 50 Ks. And I told you 2 weeks ago to pay attention to that, remember? And then last week I told you why, and I brought you the recording. Because that's the bottom of the barrel. They don't have the other ones anymore. Now, I share that with you because if you bought dinars from my broker and I, well, thank you kindly. If you bought dinars from someone else is calling you. Is calling all their customers right now. And someone else is saying, hi, you bought dinars from me. Yeah, what about it? I have 50 Ks. Would you like to exchange them? Why? Well, these are pretty 50K notes. You got 10,000s? You got 25 Ks? You have 5,000s? You have the 1,000s? I'll give you my 50 Ks for all those. And they don't explain why. The reason why is because we explained it last week and the week before. Most customers want the smaller denominations, but they're gone. And United Arab Emirates can't even find any more dinars, only what's at the bottom of the barrel. And how long have I been sending you 50 Ks with my broker? It was a pleasure to be with you. Y'all take care of each other, okay? God bless you. I think we're done with our UB2Bs for this week. I'll see you next Monday. Don't forget, next Monday is when my dear friend Walking Stick will be operated. And we're strong in the faith. We're strong in the faith. Pray for Walking Stick, please. And I leave you by sharing with you something that I learned. You see, I pray to my Heavenly Father that this little troublemaker that's in my bladder, will be removed. And I've been praying, Abba, Daddy, Heavenly Daddy, if it be your will, if it be your will, please remove this from my bladder. Amen. But I have come to the understanding that I am incorrect. I am very incorrect. And I wish to share this with you so that you will not be incorrect as I was. Some people want to be right, even when they're right. Some people want to be right, even when they're not right. This is the way I now pray. Abba, I praise you. I adore you. I worship you. I give you all honor and glory for removing this from my bladder. Thank you, Abba. In the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, I pray, amen. Not if you are willing, for he is. If I have faith, do you. Give everything to God. Give everything to him. Don't doubt 1 second, because you would be wasting that second. I love you, and I'm so proud of you because you've endured the test of time. I'll see you again on our next Monday UB2B Premium. I got a feeling we're going to be showing you some stuff. I don't know when, but I got a feeling it'll be between now and next Monday. Y'all take care of each other, okay? I wear pink in honor of all of you that are sick, all of you that are going through physiological, biological, anatomical, anything that ails your body. Just ask God to heal it and then thank Him for it. God bless. Y'all take care. Bye-bye. See you soon. Aloha.